So today's review is gonna be about an artist for me that I've been invested in probably since the first song that I heard from them, and to see how much they've grown at not only being a producer but being an artist within their own rights, and the way that they have sort of established their own identity throughout their music is something that I really appreciate a lot. And you can really hear it when it comes across in their music. So for me, today's review is going to be about Ragz Original. Ragz Original is an artist for me who I believe has a very, very broad set of skills. Not just from production, but when you look into writing and how he puts his music together, I personally think that he's someone that is going to definitely be here for the long run. Now, when you look at his discography and also where he actually comes from and the productions that he's actually contributed to, you get a real sense and understanding as to how fluid he is. So for those of you who don't know, he's had production in Benji Flow's Deep End, in Dej Loaf's Say Yeah, in Kreps and Conan's Way Up For Me, and most notably, he's been involved in Skepta's Text You Back and Shutdown from Konnichiwa, and Bullet From a Gun in Ignorance Is Bliss. So that gives you just a brief understanding as to how much and how well Ragz Original comes across when it comes to his music. And when you listen to his own productions as well, it's really amazing to see how he has so much influence when it comes to working within grime and rap. And then you hear his music, and I personally feel like it's a total 180 in every good sense of the way. So my first introduction as to who Ragz Original was came from the song that he did with Oscar World Peace called Send. Now, when I heard that song, I really liked it and I really enjoyed it. I think it took a while for me to get to a point where I was really starting to get invested in who Ragz Original was, mainly because he hadn't released anything after that. Not until he had released his other project, or his first project, titled Nature. And it's interesting to see how, when I first listened to Oscar World Peace and Ragz Original, and then I heard Benji Flow, it really got me thinking, raw, how dope would it be if all three of these guys collaborated on a project? And well, they did. They collaborated on a song called I didn't realize until later on, and if I'm being honest, I didn't realize until a couple of weeks ago, in fact, that Ragz Original, Benji Flow, Carté, and Oscar World Peace are all on the same collective known as Mini Kings. And so when you hear all three of them, you can really see how well they influence each other and how they complement each other in the music and the style that they make it in. And so when I jumped into listening to Ragz Original when he first released his project Nature, I was really interested to see what he would offer. Aside from the things that he would produce, well, he had produced, I was interested to see the type of sound that he would bring across. And Nature was really a good sense of how it blew out of all of my expectations out of the window for the type of music that I was going to expect or hear from Ragz Original. And it was really somber, it was really peaceful. And quite frankly, my favorite song on the project, Disaronno Straight, which is also my favorite drink as well, made me start to understand that he's got a specific sound about him that not a lot of people, I feel like, can really replicate. And that's a beautiful thing, because I feel like then Ragz is in a position where he's starting to establish his own particular sound that's catered to him, like a fingerprint. And I believe that's what his latest EP, Texture X, does. And the interesting thing is when you start to listen to Nature, you really get these tidbits of moments. And it's only until you listen to Texture X that you start to realize that he was already establishing his sound when he released Nature. And when you listen through his songs, you can really tell that he was starting to get into situations where he was fine-tuning it. And then come to his latest EP now, I think what's beautiful about having a 6-track EP is the fact that it gives you the opportunity to really concentrate and hone in on, look, this is what my sound is. This is how I want my production to come across. And what's beautiful is when you listen to his latest song, Thin Line, you listen to the song and you think, rah, yeah, this is a Ragz tune. This is a type of beat, or this is a type of production that I can imagine Ragz just doing a madness on. And so I'm happy to see that when it came to this project and when it came to this EP, he was really starting to get an understanding as to how he wanted himself to come across, which I feel like not a lot of artists do so soon and so eloquently as well, as much as Ragz did. Now, funnily enough, I was thinking about how I was going to actually review this EP, and I was going to probably do it track by track, but then I couldn't help myself and actually think, nah. And the reason being is because there were so many songs that kind of stood out for various reasons. And one of the songs for me that really stood out the most was Could It Be? And for me, Could It Be, if someone asked me to choose one song that would define who Ragz Originale was, I would choose Could It Be. Along with Disaronno Straight, Could It Be for me is one of my, or is the most beloved Ragz Originale song that I genuinely enjoy. And that's a hard decision to make, especially when you listen to Texture X. There is a myriad of songs that really solidify the vibe that Ragz is trying to get. And so Texture X is riddled with lyrics that obviously show his appreciation for women, but also his love for women in various different ways. And when you listen to the song 4 a.m., it really pulls you into the world that Ragz Originale wants you to come into. I always get a feel as to, when I listen to this EP or when I listen to this project, how does it make me feel? Or what can I imagine, or what time of day can I imagine myself actually listening to this EP? And so one of the most notable scenarios that I put myself in was driving around late at night in central London and just slapping this song on. And as soon as you hear 4 a.m. and just close your eyes, you really get an immersion of just everything that Ragz wants you to get into. And funnily enough, the nice jingle that Benji Flow had, which was One Time, and hearing that on Ragz Originale, this was before I had known that they were all in the same collective, really made me think, damn, like these guys not only should connect, but these are two artists I feel like that are bringing such a different vibe to the scene in the UK. And for that, personally, for me, that was something that I really loved. And it's not only that, but it's the way that Ragz Originale comes in on 4 a.m. and just continuously just graces himself throughout the project on songs like Tell Me Lies and on the more hard-hitting songs like Hotel Sex. And what's really nice about that is the way that Ragz is able to have these collaborations of people like with Samwise and Bella and really make a production that can not only fit himself and who he is, but also fit them and actually complement them. And I feel like sometimes that's not really an easy thing to do when you're on a project and you're collaborating with other people. Having a sound that's so inherently yours, but making it in a way that can complement the people who are featuring on the album. Maybe that's just me reading into it a bit deeply than it should be, but this is something that I feel like he's done really well. I think also as well is that when it comes to me listening to EPs or albums or projects, one thing I look for in particular is actually how much what's the replayability like? So how often can I actually think and be like, yo, I can actually listen to this album back to back, no problem and no issues at all. And I found that as he's released this project, as he's released Nature, but also Texture X, this album I could listen to through and through so much. It's unbelievable. He's just got banger after banger after banger after banger with 4 a.m., with Tell Me Lies, even with Jennifer as well, the way he just rounds off the whole project about him expressing his love for Jennifer and also how much that, you know, he doesn't know what they told Jennifer, but he never wants to leave her. And he never wants to be in a position to abandon her. And then when you listen to songs like Could It Be, he has really hard-hitting lyrics that talk about, you know, how does the woman in the mirror recognize you and then can't really necessarily recognize me? Saying, you know, more along the lines of how can you not love yourself and then expect to love me? And again, maybe I might be reading too deeply into it, but for me, the way Ragz Originale just incorporates his lyrics. And I remember he said in an interview how much he was working on just the writing process, and although, you know, he's someone who's always had it down when it comes to production, lyrics is something for him that he's always tried to hone and actually try to master within himself. And I feel like when you listen to these lyrics, the affectionate lyrics that he really speaks about, he does it very well. And to that, I can only just credit him. And so for me, this EP is something that I really got to grips with understanding more about who Ragz Original was, but also starting to understand that when I listen to Nature and listen to Texture X, he's an artist that's pretty much matured a lot more and really started to understand and really think about the type of blueprint and the type of fingerprint that he wants to leave within the scene in the UK. And so I feel like not just him, but Oscar Wilde Peace, Karte, and Benji Flow are all artists that are very, very much bringing something and bringing a very different vibe to the UK. I was going to rate this EP, I was going to do ratings, I was going to do numbers, but I was in a situation where I wasn't particularly too sure. And so for me, I would just highly recommend that everybody listen to this EP and broaden their musical experience as to who Ragz Original is, because I thoroughly enjoyed this EP and I feel like this is something that I feel like a lot more people should get into. Not only that, the replayability is a mad thing. I'm not even trying to cap. Like, blood. From when you listen to the first track and you just listen all the way to the last one, I don't know what to tell you. You just got to listen to it for yourself. I genuinely think that this guy is going to be someone that's going to be here for a long time. And what's amazing is that I feel like he's in that space where he knows who he is and he's doing his music at his own pace and his own time without, you know, the constant consumption of having to release a song every 2 months or every so often. You know, he's really just working at not only defining his sound and really solidifying it, but working at a pace that makes sense for him, which is what I feel like a lot more artists should do nowadays, instead of sort of catering to the mass production of music for the purpose of streaming. I never thought I would say this because I'm so used to watching YouTubers say, yo, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the like button, press the notification bell so you get information or you get notified whenever I release a new video. And I guess I've already done the monologue for that already, so you already know what to do. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, make sure you share it, make sure you promote the thing, make sure you just give me albums and projects that you want me to listen to and that I can review for you, because I'd be interested to do that as well. So yeah, I got a new setup because quite frank, I wasn't quite happy with the way the first video and the audio recorded. So I'm kind of testing the audio on this one. So let me know how you think it sounds. Let me know how it comes across to you, because I can only listen to it so much when I'm editing and doing all of this stuff. So I'd really love to get your feedback and just pretty much let me know just how you feel in general. So with that, name's Arch. Take it easy, guys. Stay blessed.